Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome. It our Wednesday. And, well, first off, tonight's drink of choice, again, Orange Crush, and this time a Vanilla Frappe. Getting all kind of fancy and stuff. Alright, so, a couple things that I wanted to discuss and show is, well, to start off with, tools of the trade. And that can mean a couple different things, as I'm peeling the label off the bottle because of my many OCDs. Tools used for development of games and projects, and primarily, as you may or may not know, well, I'm sure you probably know, is I use Unreal Engine 4, and that is the primary game engine tool that I am working with. So, while that's our game engine of what we're working with, there's other programs that I use to help me get through, and one of them for sure is GIMP, and that is for sure a really good program. It's cheap, it's free, it works really well, and it's well worth getting. If you want to do some 3D modeling stuff, then I suggest looking into Blender. Also free and really good. If you want to edit audio files, just basic edits, then Audacity, also good, and also free. So everything you really need to get started with creating a game is absolutely free. So there's no excuse not to at least give it a try. What's the worst that can happen? You suck at it and you don't make anything. Okay, big deal. It happens. But there's also tools you can use inside the game, development world, I guess you could say, that can help you to do things. Now, it doesn't seem like a whole heck of a lot, and one of them is the little tool that I call my my tattletale. It's just a simple line trace, and I'll show you how to make it. I kind of would feel bad if I actually put it on the marketplace for like $1. Here's your tattletale tool, and all it is one line of frickin' stuff in a blueprint that you slap into a character. So I would kind of hate to put it on there, even for $1, you know? So let's take a look at our character. Now I am starting off with a blank version of my simple multiplayer template. So again, if I hit play, and we're in the main menu right here, the main menu map, whenever you hit to play in standalone, you get a kind of a feel of how it's actually going to look. So this is the menu. Steam functionality, Steam username and avatar in upper right hand corner of the screen. Basic, very simple. You get single player, you get multiplayer, host and find, and you can create a name for whatever you want. And then when you hit make, you actually can go into and start playing your game. What you develop past there, entirely up to you. But 20 bucks on PayPal, and it's all you're in. So the Tattletale tool, it's really simple, really easy to make. Main menu and escape. I'm going to go into my player, and we're going to ignore the rest of the stuff right here. And the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and do a view change. So let's click on the mesh and the viewport, and let's go ahead and right click and add us a new component, if I go to the right damn place, and let's get a camera. We're going to call this our FPS camera, and let's go ahead and come over here to our sockets, socket that to the head. You can scroll down and find it, or you can type it in and do it that way. Now I think that looks pretty good. We probably could work with that, but yeah, no. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the arrow here and uncheck real time, and then I'm going to go ahead and click to rotate, and I'm going to rotate it up by 90 degrees. Howdy, and thanks for tuning in. And rotate it around 90 degrees. And then I'm going to go ahead and move it forward and up just a hair. See, it's not snapping to where I want it, so I'm going to uncheck snapping here, and then I'm just going to raise it up just a hair, and that should be good. I'm going to return back to snapping, and I'm going to turn it back on to real time so we can see. Now, the next thing I want to do is click on use pawn control rotation. So we've got that taken care of, and I'll hit compile and save. The next thing, we'll come to our free spot down here. We're going to right click, and I'm going to type in escape, and I'm going to go to keyboard events escape, and then I'm going to change that to the letter V on keyboard. It's just the easiest way to get this for creating a key stroke for something. And what we're wanting to do is we're going to get a reference to our FPS camera, and all I'm doing is left clicking and dragging it in and just dropping it in, and it's giving me a reference to my cameras. So now when we press the key, let's actually make it into a flip-flop. Flip-flop is just like a toggle. If you just leave it like this, whenever you press the key, it does something, and when you let go of the key, you can tell it to do something else. Whereas a flip-flop means it's like a switch. Now if I hit it one time, it's in this mode. If I hit it again, it switches to another mode. So I can use A and B. So what we're wanting to do with this is take, and we want to deactivate our follow camera, and we want to activate our FPS camera. Nice and simple, and we'll connect those together and neaten it up. Now, while I've got these, I'm going to Control C and Control V and copy and paste in. Now, what I want to do is, since I am going to do the opposite, I want to deactivate the FPS camera and activate the follow camera. And that's going to turn our cameras on and off. But what we're going to need to do also is we need to set it up to where we can control it with the mouse, and it looks more natural. So what I want to do here is drag off from here, type in yaw, and I want to set use controller raw. Bleh. Use controller rotation yaw. I'm going to Control C and Control V, and then I'm going to check that box, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect these two together and leave this one unchecked. Now, there's a couple more things that I want to do here as well. Got to go back to my FPS camera, scroll down, and turn off auto activate, compile and save. Now I'm going to move this over here. I am going to go to my lobby map, and I am going to play in selected viewport so I don't have to keep going through the whole menu system. So now as I walk around, when I hit the V key, I can look down, I can see myself, I can control the direction that I'm walking by moving the mouse around, and I can see my hands, my feet, and all kind of stuff. It's pretty cool. Then I hit V again, and I go back to my normal view. So that's that. But like, we have a crosshair for this mouse. Let's make that crosshair. We can make that. We can also make some other things happen here. So I'm going to go ahead and drag these over. We're going to add some more things on here. And let's create a variable. We're going to call that can shoot question mark. Now what I want to do here is I want to set can shoot to true. So when we're in our first person view, we can shoot, and then put this back over here, set can shoot to unchecked, so now we can no longer shoot. So at that point, we need to create another thing, and we'll create a custom event. And crosshair. So we want to generate a crosshair. At this point, we know that we can shoot, but still we want to go ahead and drag in a get reference, add in a branch, and we want to ask the question, can we shoot? If the answer is yes, then we want to create a widget, and we haven't created the widget yet, so we're going to leave this up. And then we want to get player controller. We'll get it all set up, and then we'll go ahead and make the widget. It's super simple. And then we want to add to viewport so we can actually see what we're doing. So let's go ahead and come back over here. I'm going to go to my UI folder and widgets, and I'm going to make a user interface widget blueprint, and we're going to call this our W_crosshair. So we know that this is the widget for our crosshair. This is a really complicated thing to make a crosshair. You grab an image, and let's go ahead and anchor both of them to the center. And we can take one of them, let's make it 60 by 5. Nope, that's position, excuse me. 60 by 5. And let's change the position now to -30, which is half of our size, and then -2.5, and that puts our horizontal bar directly dead center. Now we come to our other one, and we can do 5 here and 60 here, and then go back to our size and do -2.5 and -30. There, we got a simple crosshair right there in the center of our screen. It can't get any easier than that. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit compile and save. Go back into our player base and then select our widget for our crosshair and compile and save. And then we can come back over here and let's say crosshair. Now, one other thing we need to do is, now that we are not able to shoot, we want to get rid of that crosshair. So actually, let's go ahead and compile and save and go back into the widget for the crosshair. Go to the graph and let's get rid of those two. And from our event tick, we need to cast to player_base, which is my player. Whatever your character's name, the blueprint for your character is, use that. And then get player controller. And what we need to ask here is, can we shoot? If the answer is no, so we had to throw in a branch, connect it up. If the answer is no, then remove from parent. There you go. Remove from parent means pretty much it's going to kill that widget. Oh, excuse me, pardon me. Get player character, not controller. Excuse me, sorry, I wanted to be, able to do it by the controller and not by the character. So if we go into and test now, we walk around, everything's good, no crosshair, hit V, and now I got a crosshair. Doesn't do anything, but we have a crosshair. So wherever we look, that crosshair is going to always be in the center of our screen. So let's actually make our shooter tool now, the Tattletale tool. So what we need to do here is come back over again, and I'm just going to type in escape, get the keyboard event, and now change that to mouse, left mouse button, whatever button you want. This is going to be my fire button, and whenever I press it, this is where we need to start doing some cool stuff. We need to get a branch, and when we press, we need to ask the question, can we shoot? So I'm going to grab that and throw it on here, and it automatically links it for me. So it'll ask the question, we're asking a question, can we shoot? If the answer is yes, I'm going to go ahead and play sound at location. And I'm not going to link the location just yet, but the sound I want to use is I can use the click, or I can use I'm used to click instead of the gunshot sound. A little less obtrusive. So now we want to do a line trace by channel is what we're going to use here. Now, we need a start location and end location for this to actually work. So what I'm going to do is grab my FPS camera and drop it in here and get a link to it, or a reference to it. And what I want to do is I want to get world location. So I've got an actual world location of where I'm going to go ahead and call this from. And I can actually do that and that. That's my start location, is where my first person camera is. Now I also need to come down from my FPS camera, and I want to get my forward vector. This is like the direction of where I'm going, what I'm looking towards. And then I need to do some terrible stuff. It's called math. Not a fan of it myself, but we'll come off from here and we will do vector plus vector, and then we're going to go ahead and link that to the end. Now from here we need to do some other mathematics stuff, and it is vector times vector times float, I believe. And this is going to be linked to here. So we need to just drag this over just a hair so we can try to make it a little bit neater. So now this box we just created here is going to be our distance, and I'm going to put that at 5,000. That's the range at which this laser beam looking thing is going to work. So I'm going to expand this down, and we're going to draw debug type for duration, and we're going to leave it at 5 seconds for right now. And we'll leave the colors and everything else the way they are. And what I want to do from the on hit is I want to come down here and break hit result. Once I break that hit result, it's going to allow me to get some information. So let's say here, print text. We want to print out some text on the screen every time we fire this. So what I want to do is get hit actor and type in to text. And now I can connect that to here, compile and save. Now let me go back in here and hit play, and we're running around. We hit V. Now we can, there we go, and it just fired. It's going to go, you'll see the red square appear wherever it impacts. So we now have that, and if you look, it says on the upper left, wall 7-4, wall 10, floor 1, wall 9. But if we shoot up here, there's nothing within range for it to actually hit. So it's going to report back saying none. So every time we click on it, it's actually going to draw that line for 5 seconds, and now we have the tool that we can use to report back. Now, what good can you use something like that for? Well, if you've got some funky collision boxes that are on an object, and just for the sake of it here, I'm going to drag a cube in here, a sphere, and a cylinder, and hit play. Now when I hit it, you see it's going to keep traveling through, but the line turns green after it penetrates through the object you hit first. It's going to report back what you hit. Now, there's some other things you can do with that. If you're trying to set up hit zones or something of that nature, Let's go ahead and delete that and that and that. And for now, let's just go ahead and throw in our regular skeleton, a regular UE4 mannequin. So we hit play, hit V so we can go into our shooting mode, and now we hit mannequin 2, because we are mannequin 1 here. So, you know, it's just showing back what the mannequin is. Well, that's not really great, but what if we actually instead, let's break that, and we got hit actor. What about hit bone name? And let's go over here and to text, and let's actually get rid of that. And now when we connect these two together, hit compile and save hit bone name. So keeping that in mind, come over here and we shoot our guy. It hits spine 2, head, upper arm, lower arm, thigh left, pelvis. Well, that's more than just the pelvis. So it actually knows what part of the mannequin was just hit, or what part of the player was just hit. So if we're trying to build a shooter and you want to register hits of, okay, bang, 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 I just shot dude in the spine. Well, what if I shoot right here? It's still registering as spine 2, spine 2, spine 2, even though we know the spine is actually supposed to be right there in the center. Well, if we shoot him in the ass, I mean the butt, that's still the pelvis. Spine 1, 2, and shoot him in base on the neck is neck, and head. So if you want to register a headshot, you know, and you say, okay, if you get a headshot, it does 100% damage, or if you hit a spine 1 or spine 2 or neck, it's going to do 75% damage. But if you hit the left arm or right arm, or you know, it's going to do X number of damage. This way you can actually use this when you're setting up your weapons if you want to use a line trace, and you don't have to leave the actual line on. You can actually come over here for duration and say none, compile, save, go back in, hit play, and we're going to hit V. There's no line being drawn, but it still registers what you actually were hitting that's underneath your crosshair. So that's cool, it really is. So when you're setting up your gunfire and you're shooting bad guys and you're shooting at each other, and as soon as you hit somebody, it's going to register what you just hit. Any questions on that? Not only is it a good tool for finding mistakes in the map, like say if you've got a collision that's not set correctly, you can actually use it to why is it registering as none there? Oh, it's registering as none here because I'm not hitting any bones. So if you get a result back as saying none, you can register that as a miss. So even though right now I've got it linked to create text, you can actually have it linked off of the bone name to say something like equal, and we type in here head, which is the name of the socket for that body part, and let's go ahead and throw in a branch, and if the hit bone name is equal to head, and we'll just throw this up here, you can just throw in here, we'll just say for right now print text, and instead of hello, let's just be weird and alright, would you quit being a douche knuckle? Seriously, you know what, go to hell. Ouch. Shit, you shot me in the head. whatever. So whenever you get a headshot, it's going to do whatever comes in after this. You could also come off from that just the same and hit equal equal and none. We'll leave it as none, and then we'll come back over here and let's do another print text. And we need a branch. And let's connect that up there, and that to there, and that to there. So if it comes back and it actually says none, so if you missed, then this will be your miss condition. You could set up a condition for you missed and have a ricochet sound or whatever. Ha ha, you missed, sucker. So now let's go back in and play again. So as we're walking around, oh, none. Why didn't it work? If it name equals none, that should work. Let's go back in here and try it one more time. It may not be a fan of the none. So spine 2. Ouch, shit, you shot me in the head. So it's still reporting back saying that it's a headshot. So all right, well, it doesn't like the none there, but you get the point. Is what was it, spine underscore 01. Let's try changing this over to saying body shot, and I forgot the Y. Let's try that. So whatever you choose as your conditions to do afterwards, spine 2, sorry. Hey, you guys let me do that. So this is just one of the many things you can do with that spine. Okay, it's a lowercase s. Really, you jackass thing. It is very case sensitive, so if it's not spelled 100% correctly, then it's not going to work. I mean, the same capital letters and everything else, and yeah, it doesn't like spine 2. So what I can actually do is actually go to my mesh, and we'll look here. It's not going to let me do it, so let's see here. Spine underscore 02. Well, that's weird. I thought I had it spelled correctly, but I guess it's just one of those things where, again, it has to be 100% correct or it's not going to work. But you get the point. The head worked, and that part worked right there. So, again, if you didn't want to print text every time you did that, you could have it actually do a sound file. And I've only got one other sound file in this sample project, so we'll have it play the 9mm gunshot sound every time we make a headshot. You could have it make an exploding pumpkin sound or whatever. Oh, I hate that freaking mouse cursor bug thing. So anywhere else, nothing. But as soon as we hit the head, we get a different response. So we can sit there and trigger that. Whether that trigger is also triggering physics, like you can have your target ragdoll whenever you hit them in the head or you hit them in the chest. You can tell it to start the death procedure or whatever you want. Anything you put after this, like bone name, if you use a specific bone name like head or spine 01 or whatever the spelling is, worst case scenario, I could probably just come over here to the skeleton and go to the skeletal tree and find that, copy selected bone name, and let's try this again and just see if maybe it's just that Unreal 4 engine hates me. So then we'll hit Control V, and there, that should be 100% correct. And then we'll do to text. What? Alright, so, sorry, going into a branch. And then we can do from here, let's see here. Well, we didn't actually need that because we have that connected to the head and we killed our sound file. So let's go ahead and forget about that and connect that in like that, and we'll just go from there. So now this should be saying something. We'll just leave it saying hello if we hit the spine. So let's try that. Did you guys let me do that? Spine 1. It's spine 2. You guys are sitting here watching me and you let me do that. Copy selected bone name. Control V and compile and save. You guys are sitting right there and let me do that. Alright. So there. Now it's saying hello. So that's, you're going to let it... you can always come in here and actually get the exact bone name. But what I just did right here was I right-clicked on it and copy selected bone names, and then I went in here and I just Control V to paste it in there. So now we've got that, and that would be let's see, body hit, and the same thing here. We could just Control C and Control V, copy that in there, leave this in, move this back over here, and now we can connect our headshot in here. So now we can tell it to let's do head shot, and if we wanted to, we can go ahead and do the play sound just for something different. Come on. So now we have a way of knowing we had a body hit. As long as we hit spine 2, we're going to have a body hit. If we get the head, we'll get a headshot. So that is that. I'm going to get rid of all of this stuff here, and with other things here, you've got location. So what if you want to know the location of a particular spot? Let's actually put back in the print text. This is my favorite tool for just kind of screwing around and finding out what the texture is, or the material, or sorry, the actual model that I'm hitting, or mesh, or whatever. If you go to physics material, you can get it to report back what the physics material is. Location, impact point for the initial overlap. So let's actually go over here and we're going to type in to text, and that's a vector, and we're going to connect that into here. So now we can report back, where do I want this? Well, okay, here's where I want you to put this, and you can report back, and we'll hit play, V, and it's going to give you your X, Y, and Z coordinates for wherever you're aiming. So what's the x and y of that wall there, or what's the y value of it? So we can look right now. We can see that it's consistent all the way across this wall. So our y-axis is at 1449.987. So you might as well say 1450 for your y-axis for this wall, and 1450 for that one. So you got 1450 and negative 1450 here. And what is the x-axis for this wall? Is going to be 1050 and negative 110, negative 32. I'm sorry, negative 1849 and 1050. So you can find your x or your y or your z. How high is that item right there? How high is the floor? It's at 130. Well, if I'm hitting the guy here, let's actually turn my line back on so we can see. And for duration, compile and save. So you can see the line, and that's where it actually pointed to. So it just hit my character. It hit another player, and it hit it at 238, 248. You can tell how high the how high is your eye level. It's around 300. So, yeah, there's a lot of little uses you can use this tool for. The line trace is good for setting up if you're going to shoot laser beams and it's going to have a flat trajectory, then this is great. And you can test it out. You can also, if you're setting up your AI for your AI to shoot back at you, you want them to be able to shoot with a line trace so you can actually see where they're actually shooting or where their aim is. You can have it track their aim. There's a lot of things you can do with a line trace, but it's all using this break hit result and utilizing what you can out of this. The bone name, the hit component, what you actually hit, the actor that you hit, the physics material, impact, normal, impact point. Just so many stuff that you can actually get that information from. It's like trace start, I would imagine, is where you actually were standing whenever you actually said that or shot that. Blocking hit. If there was a blocking hit, false if otherwise, whatever, you know. Time of impact along the trace direction ranging from 0 to 1. Distance. Alright, well, let's actually report back our distance here. Let's go to text. And again, let's do a print text. And link that in here. So now we're going to get our location and our distance every time we do our click. So that guy is 1592 away from me, or 1598 roughly. So you can get a range to target. Think of what you could use that for. If you're setting up a sniper configuration, if you know that's your distance, your range to target is 2180, 2836. There's just so much data you can pull from that. You guys got any questions about the line trace on using that? Because just the same with all of this, you can actually say that we're going to use an example here. Compile and save. Let's actually create a temporary NPC. Let's actually go in here and, yeah, whatever. We'll just go to new folder, temp, and we'll create a temporary blueprint. Call it an actor target. And now we can actually add in whatever we want for our target. So let's actually throw in our mannequin just for the heck of it. So I'm going to grab the skeletal mesh for the mannequin, and we could actually give him a base animation of just doing the idle. Compile and save. Now, get rid of these guys. Now, what we want to do is we can actually say, okay, we want to get this information from here. And let's actually go ahead temporarily and throw him into the map. Now, we actually have it in here. We don't have it spitting back any data. So let's actually give it a chance to do some data. You guys are being awful quiet over there. It's like disturbing. Say something. So I want to report back the hit bone name. I want that to go to text. And for now, we're just wanting to report back so we can see what it actually says. So as we're running around, hey, look, bad guy. Now, you notice that it's reporting back as none. And you notice that the line stays red going all the way through them. Why is that? Well, there's no collision detected. So therefore, our target, we need to go back to our mannequin. Let's go to our collision. No collision. So let's say block all. Now, because I'm going to go absolutely freaking insane, open level blueprint, event begin play. So if I don't do this shit, it's just going to disturb my brain until I physically do it. Set input to game only and get player controller and set show mouse cursor default. Get rid of that fucking mouse cursor, pardon my damn language. So every time we go into the friggin' map, I don't have to deal with that stupid ass mouse cursor. Hey, look, this is the way it should be. Now I hit V, go in, and a little low, but it hit a head, spine to. So now it's actually got collision, and it knows that we just hit upper arm. We just hit the spine too, which we're going to say is the chest. We know that we hit the head, the pelvic region. Shoot him in the junk, and it can come back and say, "Hey, you hit me in the junk, you bastard." So, target and player. So let's take this same information and equal and narrow. Yeah, state-of-the-art stuff, huh? You know what? We'll just do that over again. Equal. And let's go ahead and grab that. Well, we just use head. It's easier to get correctly. HEAD. So now if we hit him in the head, we want to do something. We want to go ahead and screw it. For right now, let's create a variable head shot. So we create that variable. So we can go alternate, left click, drag in, and it gives us a set node. So we're going to, if we get a headshot, if the report's back saying the bone hit was head, then we're going to set headshot to true. So now let's go ahead and compile and save. And what we're going to do here is cast to player underscore base, which is my player. And the shit part is I want it to actually do the controller, so I'll have to do that a different way. But get player character. The bad part is when you're referencing get player character, that's every player character in the entire game. So if you want it to only happen to the person that's doing something, then you want it to be get player controller, but it won't work in this instance here. So as this, we want to get headshot, do a branch, and if headshot equals to true, then we want to do something. For now, just so we can see that it's working, because I'm liable to screw something up because I'm shooting this from the damn hip. Play animation. And let's drag that back down there because I'm weird like that. And the animation that I want to play is third person jump. Then let's add in a delay of 1 second and set animation. It's the animation instance. It's not create. What the hell is it? I've done this 1,000 times, and I'm just going to draw a complete and utter freaking blank. I thought it was set the animation instance. Third person animation. That's absolutely wrong there. That's not what I want to do. You know what? We'll just let him break for right now until I unbrain fart and remember what the hell I'm doing. So now we come over here, everything is good, hit him in the pelvis, shot him in his junk, and there. It caused him to go into the jump animation. This is where if we had a death animation, we'd initiate that. So we know that it works. Let's actually... It's because we set him up as an actor and not as a character. Let's Control C. Let's close that. Let's go in here. Let's delete you and delete you. Force delete. You can go away now. And because I did that way, it doesn't have the it doesn't have any movement. So we're going to copy that into the temp folder. We're going to call this our NPC underscore base. Go into it. And we don't need any of that stuff. And we just need to go ahead and Control V to paste all that stuff back in there. And we can go ahead and get rid of the follow camera, camera boom, and first person camera. All we need is that. Yes, yes, I know. We will get I'm just going to start back from this point right here. So we get that. I'm going to get a reference to our mesh. Nope, I'm just going to go ahead and do play animation mesh. And then from there, we want to go ahead and tell it to run the jump animation. And then from there, we're going to run a delay just for the sake of it. We're going to set that at 1. I don't know what the actual length of time it is for the animation. And then we want to go ahead and do set animation instance. It may be that. It's been a while since I've actually done this, but we want to go ahead and go back to our third person animation blueprint. We want him to go back to his normal state, his normal blueprints. So now if we hit one of these guys into the map, and let's actually go ahead and rotate him around so he's facing us. We don't want to shoot a boy in the back. Well, maybe. So nothing. Shoot him in the head, and oh, we forgot the collisions. I say we because like there's a frickin' mouse in my pocket and stuff. Because my dumbass forgot to do block all for the collision. Compile and save. Now we're hitting something. So he does that animation for a second, and yeah, that wasn't the actual thing there. Animation. And I notice it has not changed. Stop animate or stop mesh. Set play. Set animation mode. I swear I thought it was animation instance, and it probably is. Use animation asset. No, this isn't it. I know what it is, and I've used it a dozen times, and it's what happens when you get old, right? It's set animation instance. So let's try anim instance. No, we don't want to cast to. Yeah, it just keeps coming back to this. You know, we don't actually have to do that. I mean, the whole point was we wanted to see a reaction of what was happening here, and the best way to go about it is actually to create a montage. So you play an animation montage instead of just an animation itself. So normally like this right here, whenever we get done doing that, and yeah, it just is unusual that it's not coming up the way that it used to. So third person animation blueprint is what it should be, because you're wanting to go back to its resume its normal animations. So there's the headshot, and we don't have the delay in there anymore, so pop that back in there so we can see that it was doing something for a full second. So body shot, nothing. Headshot, he jumps, and you know what? It's just going to be a pain in the rump. So let's put in a do once. Damn it. And then reset. So I only wanted to do it once, and it's doing it forever. Yep, still freaking out. That's weird. Yeah, Unreal Engine 4 has not liked me lately. It's done some weird stuff. So for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and play animation to third person idle. So we'll send him back into his idle stance after 1 second. And it is a looping, excuse me. This is not the right way to do it. And so this is one of those things where I've done it a bunch of times and then suddenly it's not going to work. So now we get a headshot. He does that dance for a second. Well, see, I know what it's... I blame you. You let me do this. We need to set headshot to false because we didn't turn it back off. We turned the state on and we didn't turn the state back off. So now it should be correct. Should be. Famous last words, right? So we get a body shot, nothing happens. We get a headshot, bang, he does the animation and then goes back. See, that's what I was forgetting before, was the fact that I wasn't turning off the headshot state. So let's actually try doing it like I was doing before and see if I was actually right and just thought I was wrong. And then set animation instance class, and let's do third person animation blueprint. And now let's see if I was right. Yep. See, I was doing it right. I just forgot one minor step, and that was turning off that thing. So we get a headshot, and for 1 second, he'll go in there and do that. And it automatically resets because we told it to reset on the target itself. So we could have also done, just for shits and grins, we can add in another delay, and we'll make this 3 seconds, and learn how to spell and destroy actor. So now, if you wanted to do this and create this as your death, okay, instead of it doing the jump animation here, it would actually do the death animation, and then here you could tell it to actually do another animation or pose essentially of being dead on the ground, and you can tell it to do that from a certain location, like get a reference to your foot, your left foot or your right foot, you just have them go dead right there, and then after a certain set amount of time, like right now, it's fine there, it's fine there, but then we shoot him in the head, he freaks out, and then poof, he's gone. So you can despawn your target. So this turns into your basics of a shooter with your line trace, and instead of doing all of this, you could actually also do, instead of making him go away, we made him freak out there. Same thing here, you can go in with the same information you were getting from your player character from the line trace hit. If you had a variable set on your target, like health, and we made that into a float, and compile, save, change the value to 100, then compile and save again, and then you could go in here and get health. And at this point here, you can set up damage values. Like this is going to cause health minus 50, because it's a headshot. It does half or 50% damage, or it does 50 damage, or it does 5 damage, or whatever you want it to have. So tell it to do that. So in this same line right here, you can, let's do a get health, let's do a set health. So we could do like at that point we want to set health to our health minus, and we'll say 50. So a headshot is 50 damage, and then we connect that into setting our health to there, and then from there just throw on a branch node, and we want to check is float, is that less than or equal to 0. And if there, you would give your death animation. Right there, let's say, let's just go ahead and destroy actor. So we shoot him the first time, and it's going to freak out, then it's going to go back to normal, and then we shoot him again. It should lower his health to, let's throw another one here just for giggles. So we see that the body shot's not registering anything for damage. Bang, got a headshot. He did his animation and went back to normal. Bang, did his animation, and it killed both of them. I just can't win for losing tonight. It's going to destroy every single solitary instance of it right there. So I knew that was going to happen. So that's something I'm going to have to work on. So whenever I start getting these issues like this, is when I start getting upset, and I want to walk away for a little bit. But the idea of it is, okay, we just made a headshot. He freaks out a little bit and goes back to normal. We make another headshot again. He freaks out and dies and goes away. So at that point, you'd want to go ahead and set up unique identifiers. And there's a lot of other things you need to do. But this is just the basics of how you can destroy a target. I will look more into screwing around with setting up each individual target as being its own separate entity. That way it's a unique ID for each one of them. But the whole point of this video was just trying to get set up and showing how you could use a simple line trace for a lot of different stuff. So that. So we took that data, the hit bone name, from our line trace, from our break hit result. We got from our bone name, we checked, we did an equal, and we asked, was the hit bone name equal to head? If it was, then headshot. We just have a simple little variable right there. And then our target would then check our player stats and see if we got a headshot or not. You know, there's other ways of doing this. This was just a simple way of taking this data and making it visible for us to see something happening. You know, it's just one of those things. I'm going to leave that in. I'm going to end up deleting this project here later anyway, but hit actor, we can do this. You can add multiples in here. So you can have it print off anything. So instead of it hitting a bone name, if we hit a wall, we still want it to actually show something. So let's go ahead and print text. And then connect that over to here. And now if we hit any actor, it's going to report back and say what we hit. So now we hit a wall. It's still saying none. So and here's the thing is also, if you wanted to not say anything, then it's kind of hard to clear out everything. You would have to actually type in if the hit actor equals, and then put in an actual, you could actual blueprint, but that's not what I actually want to do here. Hit actor equal object. Yep, and it's being weird again. So I'm just going to leave it the hell alone and get away from it for a little bit. It's absolutely being stupid. So, and I'm being stupid here. I can also do to text. I actually already have one here. So if we do this and equal, and actually, no, let's do the other one. No. Well, we can do that. We can still do this. Equal. Doesn't matter which one we use on this. And then we'll do a branch node. Go into the branch node. And it, you know, this is how I figure out everything, is just sit here and screw around with stuff. Now, at this point, we have the name here. We can create text variables here and actually make a list if we wanted to. Just so many different things we can do with this stuff. See, hit bone name, hit component. No. Yep, it's just gonna do that to me every time. But it worked off of this one. Equal name. But see, that's the bone name. We don't need the bone name. We need the hit actor. And we're going to end up having to do things a little bit differently. We're going to actually have to do it off of toText. And then equal to. And then we're just going to have to give it a value here. So we could actually come in here and create a new variable. None. And what are you being an asshole for? No value. And we're going to make this. I'm sorry, we need to make that text. And we can actually do this. Nope, we want to go ahead and no value. Then equal. Still need that. And with no value, we have to compile. And then we can say none. Compile and save. And we can actually put that on the bottom now. Connect that to here. So if the return value is none, see, we've got this going directly into here now. So we don't want it to print text there. So now if it comes back as a no value and saying none, then we don't want it to do anything at all. And then we can do print text. And the value here we can actually pull off of that return value. So everything can be figured out. So now we check there and it's reporting back floor, wall. It's doing it double, but see, it hit NPC base, but now I hit head, and so it said headshot. It's reporting back and printing it there. It's just printing it twice. So if it's reporting back as none, we want to make sure that it's not saying anything. And it's saying none still. So we're just going to shoot him and say the hell with it. And you're dead now. All right, so that's it. I'm done talking about this lovely stuff here. I'm actually going to go ahead and dump this whole project because this was just a sample. Don't save and delete. The reason why I was using the line trace thing was in this, while I was walking around checking out the Polygon Town stuff, which I probably should have gone into this one, because this one I've already fixed everything. So let me do that instead. This one I have not fixed everything. This is actually the try before you buy asset pack, or try it before you buy for the asset pack called Polygon Town from Cinti Studios. So what I've actually done with this is this is the one that's available on the Discord channel, that you can go in there and actually play and walk around and see if you're going to like the asset pack. But I don't have that tool built in this asset pack. I probably could have. So that's a question for viewers, is for my try before you buy stuff, should I add this tool in place so that whenever you're walking around you can shoot something with it and say, okay, that's what that is, okay, that's what that is, so you could actually target the individual items and see what they are. And I don't remember if I've got it set up for replication on it or not. So this is something that I can quickly add in here to the character, player, blueprint, player base. Oh, I got a lot of shit in there. So that's my view stuff. Left shift, begin play. That's for my mesh. Got my viewport. I've got first person view already set up. I just need to add in the variable can shoot. And you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to add it in here. Just simply because I've already got it in here and I don't want to screw with that, because that's already a finished project. So I will just go back into the other project. So sorry, I'm being flippy floppy right now because it's the 1 hour mark. It's ready for me. You know, I'm ready to walk away and take a break for a little bit. I try to do these streams for no more than an hour, just so I can, you know, get a few things accomplished and just kind of keep from boring everybody to damn death. Alright, so, and I've got other maps in here. Let's make sure I've got it, and it should be, yep, it's right there. It's returning back. Okay, I got that one set up in here, so we're good to go. So what I'll do is I'll go to the Polygon Town map, and from there, you can walk around, shoot things with it, and get it to respond back and actually say what's what. And that's how I was able to go around and troubleshoot for Cinti Studios and actually give them bug reports. So if I hit play, now walking around, everything's lovely. Got my sprint and everything else. Hit the V key, go into my first person, like this. And that's the gas pump. That's what it came back as. I can see that the green line behind the dot there tells me that the collision for this particular item is set up a little bit differently. So if I shoot it straight on, I can see that the collision is actually coming almost straight down, slight taper. So I can see that the collision is not fully shaped. It's not using a complex collision. Same thing with this building. I can shoot here and I can go right through. But what if I hit that door? The door actually has collision on the glass. That's good. What I was finding out was stuff like the buildings. Whenever I shoot here, look, you can see you got that whole green line right there. That's showing you where the collision box is. Damn trees are in the way. So the collision box is going to prevent me from getting close to the house right here. because there's a collision box. You can see the green line. That's going to tell you where your actual collision box is, and it doesn't need to be there, and that's something that needed to be addressed. So I was able to use this little tattletale tool that I call it, and I can see where the collision box is, and I can walk around and show somebody what it is. Come over here. It went right to the wall. That one went right to the wall. That's good. Even went right underneath the umbrella, so we know the collision's good on that. How about this tree? The collision is like right in the middle of it. You can see it does have some collision, but the collision box is smaller. That's fine, because it's a bush. You would expect you would have some give to it. Our windows there have good collision. Garage looks good. So if you're going around checking your static meshes on something, that one's good, and that one's good. Our pink flamingo has good collisions. So this is the other project that I've been working on, and oh, we got a bad street light. So we got street lamp. It's reporting back at that. Pickup 3. So I didn't check the collisions. Look at there. As I'm directly in front of it, you can't walk in between here because the collision for this particular house is set to where the collision box is like right there. So if you want to quickly fix that, this tattletale tool will let you, okay, bang. Well, it just tells you right there, SM_BLD_house_preset_08. But you could also just hit escape, click right there, go to your details, hit your magnifying glass, and it highlights the correct one. Double click on it. I'm going to go right here, scroll down to collision, and use complex collision as simple. Hit save, and instead of going all the way back over here walking, I'm going to right click and play from here. So now it goes all the way to the wall, and now we can walk back there. Nice, lovely little fix for that. Same thing whenever I was actually having some problems with collisions inside the big house, the two-story house you can walk into. When I was having problems getting up the stairs, I was trying to figure out what's going on here. Well, why is this? Oh, there's a collision there. The collision box on that sill piece is a little high. So I might need to go back in there and look at that. I can see if I shoot right here, that's the internal garage wall. So I could see that was a problem, and it's not a problem. But what was happening is I was trying to walk up the stairs, and I get stuck right there. Well, all I had to do was shoot there. And it tells me what the tile is, and then I could actually go in there and look at the collision for it, and I saw that the collision was bad for it, and bang! Instantly let them, Cinti Studios know, and they took care of it. The same, you can see that the water has a collision on it, so you would not be able to go into the water, you'd stand on top of it. I'm sorry, it was one of these little simple little nerd tools that that works. Hey, water don't work. The dog dish, where the hell's the dog? Alright, that's pretty much all I wanted to show for this video, was what you could use that for. Now this right here, the ceiling fan, if you wanted to make that ceiling fan work, I will show that really quickly. This is super simple. I'm going to go to my assets folder, and what the hell, I'll put it in machines, and we'll create a new blueprint actor, and we'll call this ceiling underscore fan, but let's put BP in front of it because we all know what it is. We're going to go into it, drag your happy ass back over there, and then I want to get that model again, so I'm going to select that, and go back into here, add component, static mesh, lovely. And then I'm going to go ahead and add another piece, which is the fan blades. So I'm going to select it and then add component, static mesh. And then I want to go ahead and going to raise this up to there. Nah, I want to have that as the piece of it. I want it to be off of the default scene. So there. Let's raise up this guy. So now it's there. It's not centered. It's not perfect. It's not the whole point. And then go to this right here, add component and rotating movement. And compile and save. Now if I wanted to, I could take that, go to machines, get rid of that. No, you dumbass, I'm clicking here. Get rid of that, get rid of that, and let's drag this in here, bring it down a little bit. Well, it's not perfect, but we'll get the point. So we'll hit play, and we'll walk into the house and check it out. Run faster, schmuck. Still got to fix that stamina. I haven't really messed with the project much. So there, we have a working ceiling fan. You can adjust the speeds and make it go faster or slower. You could add a light to it if you want to. Now, the whole thing is rotating. If you don't want the whole thing to rotate, then you could just set it to where that part is gone, and compile and save. Now you'll just have the blade spinning. So if you go back into the, well, I don't remember where the model was. Was there another one in here? The base for the ceiling fan. So if the rest of it was still there, and we'll just kind of slap it in place here. We're not worried about being perfect. You know what? Close enough. So now, when we add in our blades, we can center that on there. To get it correct, the best way to do it is actually come over here. Say this is at -500 and -1500. So we'll click on this, -500 and -1500. Yeah, the height's fine for now. So now, when we go back into it, only the blades will be spinning. There you go. You got a working ceiling fan. Yay. Much applause. That was so complicated, wasn't it? But it's something as simple as that right there. Having the ceiling fan actually work adds a little bit of life to the scene and makes it feel a little bit nicer. Now, I have actually done with the City Studios Polygon Dungeons, there was actually some rotating saw blades and traps and stuff, and I actually created working saw blade traps and things like that. But we will get back to work on this project later on. I need to look at the collision on these guys. So let's actually look here. That step is fine. The collision is having an issue with that door frame. So that is, well, we don't need to worry about the name because now we can hit escape, click there, click here, and I'm going to go ahead and change this into use complex. Another little simple collision issue. So now if we come over here and come on, right click, play from here, and then walk inside, that should have taken care of some of that issue. no, we're still not able to just walk right in. So what about this guy? These are steps. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing just for the hell of it on this one. I don't know what the collision looks like on it, so I can actually come over here, do simple collision, and you can see that it has kind of a, I don't know if you guys can see that green line right there, but it has kind of a green line there. That's what the simple collision or the normal collision looks like. If I uncheck that and look at the complex, every facet of it then is going to have, you know, a full step to it, or a full face to it. So I'm going to go ahead and set that one to complex. I'll just add this into the list of the next bug report. So sprint, come on, full run. So we got a lot of work to do on this project. Again, beautiful, nice and seamless. If you want to help with this project, then let me know, and I can get you started with what you need to work on and that kind of stuff, what you're good with, and kind of figure all that stuff out. You really need to start putting in the save game, the ATM functionality I took out temporarily because I want to make sure that it's working correctly, because I want it to work off of the player's individual controller and save game. I don't want, and the problem that I ran into once before was if 3 or 4 or 5 of us are in here playing and I walk over to the ATM, it may pop up on your screen, not just mine, or it might only pop up on your screen and not on mine at all. I'm like, well, why isn't it working? And then you're over there saying, what the hell's going on? Why does this damn window keep popping up in my face? So, you know, it's little things like that. So I want to make sure the functionality of all the little things like the ATM system, so that I can make a deposit and put my money into the bank account so I'm not carrying cash. And what I want to do is set it up to where whenever you get killed, or if you get killed, everything you're carrying on you, like money and anything in your inventory, will fall to the ground as well. So, and we got the food, and we got drink in there, so we can raise that back up. We know that the sprint is half-ass working. I need to keep working on that and get that smoother, because you see I'm sprinting right now and it's not affecting anything. Sprint bar is not going down. I can jump, it's not affecting it. So it's working sometimes and sometimes it's not. So I got to fix that, and I have it set to where when you jump it also drains some of your stamina, and right now my stamina bar is not moving at all. So I'll look into the stamina issue, I'll figure it out and fix it and get it working correctly. Again, if you want to jump in and help out with this project, the cool thing about doing this is you don't actually have to have all of the files. You don't have to have all of what I'm working on. You don't even have to have the asset pack. You don't have to have Polygon City or Polygon Heist or Polygon Town to get anything to work. You don't have to have any of that stuff. The way we work around here is you could actually do one small component at a time and then submit that in as part of the project, and it can be integrated in. It's hard to explain right now. It's easier to do whatever. We're just like sitting around talking. So if you're interested, let me know. On Polygon Heist, when we get ready to start doing weapons, I have weapons in the Heist pack, which is there's 2 pistols, submachine gun, M4, AK, pump shotgun, and a sniper rifle. Some accessories like silencer, scopes, flashlight, things of that nature. So I want to get all that tweaked up, tuned up, so if you go to a gun shop in town and you decide you want to buy a pistol, you come over here to the hardware store. And yes, years ago you used to be able to go to a hardware store and buy your guns. Yeah, it doesn't happen anymore. But come into like the hardware store and purchase an M4. And come on, open says me. So once you've got your M4, well, you see there's no sight on it, much like if you buy one from other people. Won't mention any names, Palmetto State Armory. Anyway, you buy it, there's no scope on top. There's no rear sight whatsoever. You got a front sight. Well, you can get the carrying handle. You buy that carrying handle, and then you'll be able to attach it to your weapon. You get a vertical grip. You can attach it to your weapon. You can add or take away accessories whenever you want to. And I have, like, so the carrying handle or red dot scope. You can put on the vertical grip, flashlight. You can set it up to where the magazines come out whenever you change them. Whenever you fire, can make you know, eject a shell casing. What you would do is go into the weapons rigged, for an example, really quickly, and then I'm gonna get out of here. It doesn't matter which one I open up. Well, the shotgun. So you see, you've got your ejection port for your shotgun right here. All you have to do is go into, instead of the static mesh, you want to go into the skeleton for the shotgun. You've got some other pieces here. You've got your pump, you've got your trigger, and your slide, which those are not the correct names for them, by the way. So you could actually come over here, left click, and then right click and add a socket, and we're going to call this ejection underscore port. You just have to remember what you call your sockets. Then what I want to do here is, yes, it would be so much easier if I actually just adjust my camera speed, but I'm being lazy. Come over here, adjust it to right there at the ejection port location. So now whenever you're setting up your shooting system, whenever you fire, even if you don't make the slide or the pump actually work, you could actually cycle this and allow this to go to the rear and cycle. Whenever you do, if you have your animation set up to do that and set up, you can actually create animation blueprints for your weapons and actually have it to where whenever it fires, you cycle the action and it ejects a shotgun shell out. So you have an empty shell that comes out of it. And yes, there are shells that are in here, but they are static meshes. So if you look, here is the shotgun shell. So you can have it set up to come out. You've got the shotgun shell, you've got the pistol bullet, you got empty shell casings, and then you got rifle as well. It's kind of hard to see, it's really small, but you got rifle shells. If you look at it, this is an empty one here, so you can have this come out whenever you fire the weapon. If you want to have these sitting on top of your magazine, you could do that. There's even a couple grenades, like a flashbang and stuff like that. So we'll work on weapons much later. This is a not now item. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and save all, and I'm going to get out of here. You guys let me know on Discord if you want to help with the project. Also, what I'll do is, if you can do anything for the project and can actually turn something in. I've had problems with people joining on my team and only joining so they can get free assets, and I'm going to have to not give out any assets whatsoever because I had people join just to get assets and then they haul ass. So I'm not going to let that happen anymore. So if you want to join on the team, if you already have these asset packs, wonderful, outstanding. If you don't, I have plenty of work that you can do that does not involve you actually having the asset packs as well. And I'll make another video based on just this. Now, also, if you do actually do some work, the first little thank you for doing some work and actually turning it in towards this project, the Steam Simple Multiplayer template that I sell, I will give you a free copy of it. Don't sound so like enthusiastic. Oh, wow. Ooh. Hey, shut up. I worked hard on a damn thing. I made a damn thing over a year ago and it still works great. So, had several patches and it still works. That's what we're using now for all of our other projects. So, and that'll just be getting started. Might be some side projects going on as well. I am actually going to do that as well. Close that up. So I do have from time to time some actual paying customers who want things done and will actually kick in a few bucks. So just keep in touch with me on Discord. Let me know what's going on. Let me know if you want to join on the project, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to get out of here and take a break, and then whenever I come back, and I will, say something on Discord, say, hey, I'm back. If you guys want me to stream anything else, let me know. Or if you got any questions, just let me know. Alright guys, we'll see you later.